Welcome back. Joining us right now, the busiest man in show business, the one, the only, the lovely, the talented Sean Salisbury. Good morning, Sean.
What's happening, man? How you guys doing today?
Great. Sean, are the Chiefs ever going to lose? And is it time? Do we they're the two-time defending champions? So when do we start really paying attention to the fact that? And I'm talking about Miami Dolphins. When do we start really paying attention to the fact that they're undefeated?
I don't think we can go there until December sometime. I don't think they don't look now. When I say this, they are we 8-0, like you said, 8-0, right? Yeah, 8-0. They don't look as explosive yet with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You always have a chance. The last 2 weeks now, their offense has started to look more like Chiefs' offense as a pass. He's got 3 touchdown passes this week. Gets Kelsey involved the last couple of weeks. It's starting to pick up. That's the dangerous. You knew at some point. Hell, the first 5 weeks of the season, it's been defense for them most of the time. And even last year, they made big plays in big games, and they got the best quarterback in the world and the best head coach, or one of them on the planet, and play caller. But they won with Spagnuolo, clutch defense under pressure in big-time games. He's a big game defender. And their players on defense probably got tired of hearing about offense all that time, and the last couple of years have been a staple for them. The offense has struggled at times the last couple of years. They lose bodies, but they still find ways to win. To me, that's a great team. Well, we don't have any great teams. That's a great way to go about it. They're finding ways to win, and they still have not played their best football offensively. The last couple of weeks, the trend is trending towards them hitting a crescendo and building to a crescendo when the time's right, when we get into the postseason, which is who they are. It's amazing to me. Yet I watch them, and I'd take 3 or 4 offenses over them. Now, not the quarterback, but the overall, the whole sum, not the parts. Hell, Detroit can score from the parking lot. I mean, you can go all over. Baltimore's explosive, yet they just know how to keep it within striking distance, even if they're down or it's close. And then you don't go for the 2-point conversion. You get them the ball back at OT, takes them down, bam. They go win a football game. That's who they are. The danger is letting them find a way to get hot. And you know what? Them, Baltimore, and Detroit, who I think are the 3 best teams in football, all either before today on the trade deadline or today have got their roster better. Detroit gets a pass rusher. Baltimore gets a receiver. Kansas City gets 2 bodies. And one's DeAndre Hopkins, who was really non-existent in Tennessee, catches 8 balls. So you start to see who Kansas City is, and they elevate their play. So I don't think they're going undefeated, but talk to me after Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, if they win the next 3 weeks and we go in and they're 11 or 12-0 and we're into December, then it becomes real. I just think it's so hard because at some point they've won back-to-back Super Bowls. Everybody has expectations, including themselves. I think at some point what you do, that pressure of you play not to lose as opposed to playing to win. Right now they're just doing what, hey, defense doesn't play as well, we'll go score and Mahomes will go off. And it's fascinating watching them, but I would, if you said, Sean, you got $100,000, you got to slide it either way. You have to bet it on whether undefeated or they'll lose somewhere along the line in the regular season. I would bet that they're going to lose at some point in time during the regular season. Not many, but I would bet that they won't go undefeated.
Sean, I think you said it there in your answer early on, but would you have gone for 2 last night?
I would have. And it's easy to say, but in watching, I said, I think normally I'm like, well, why take the ball out of, if the overtime rule was different in a regular season, which it should be, I cannot stand the fact, just give both teams 1 possession minimum and then play sudden death. They did 1 possession, whether it's a field goal or touchdown. Then we're not sitting here arguing, oh, you called heads and you won it. And then you'll get the argument, well, if the defense was any good, they'll get the stop. Well, let's see if Kansas City's defense is any good so they can get their stop as well. It solves it. There's no problem after that. Then the team goes down. If they can't score, they're still, and I always believe that games should be won with all phases of the game playing. And if you do it my way, where both teams get 1 possession in the regular season, minimum touchdown or field goal, special teams for both teams, kickoff return and kickoff, and then punt and punt return, or kickoff return, kickoff coverage, and offense and defense both come into play automatically for all 3. So to me, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. But that being said, you still got to get off the field. The rules are what they are. And on the road, and you came down and Baker got you. They're playing their ass off. Their 2 best receivers are out. They're grinding it out, and they're doing everything they can. At home, I would have said do what they did at your building. On the road in Kansas City, after you just scored, they're reeling a little bit from your drive. I would have taken the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and I would have taken my chances with 2 points on the road. I would have done that there.
Luke Getsy, Sean, let go from your Raiders, and I can't help but think, no disrespect to Luke, but it's not like he was banging it up in Chicago. Sean, we said this before the season. This isn't Monday morning quarterbacking, that you basically chose Luke Getsy over sending a 6th-round pick to Chicago for Justin Fields. And I got to wonder what this Raiders season would look like if they had somehow been able to hold on to Cliff Kingsbury and they had Justin Fields under center. It just seems like Mark Davis can't get out of his own way.
Yeah, and Fields would be a better player. He started to show flash in Pittsburgh. Look what Kingsbury's doing. Now, I know listen, Jaden Daniels is a good person to have. How fortunate is Kingsbury? He's had Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, at SC for a minute, and now he's got Jaden Daniels. It's a pretty good gig. I mean, and he enhances their game. Now the head coach and the coordinator, it's 2 different jobs. I mean, he struggled a little more there, but when it comes to understanding offense and how to attack and put your quarterback in his biggest strengths and keep him out of weaknesses, Kingsbury's damn good at it. He'll get another role at head coach if this continues in Washington. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Listen, we come on here and talk Raiders, say, what can we do different? It's not only baffling, it's so frustrating to me because they can't get any of it right. Whether it's not going out and getting a quarterback or then drafting one, and then that guy's not playing, then you go get a guy in free agency, then that guy's here, then Carr, you move in. I mean, it's everything. And then your best receiver, well, you bring him from Green Bay, give up all that stuff, it's going to work. No, it doesn't work. And now, oh my gosh, we got a coach, an interim coach, we keep him. Oh, he was a player's coach last year, but now all of a sudden he's not. And then I confess he did it. You get rid of these 3 coaches and bring in Luke Getsy, get rid of these 3 because we're not producing halfway through the season, replace them with somebody else. I mean, it's a disaster. And I love Antonio Pierce. I do as a person, and I think he could be, but you got to give something to work with. And it starts under center and it starts at a few other places. There's not a lot of Max Crosby's in the league that every team gets, and they're fortunate to have him at least today. I'm not sure if they're going to trade him or not, or how that's going, but yes, you're exactly right. With Cliff Kingsbury, would your offense be better, more explosive? Would your quarterback perform better? The answer is absolutely it would. Now, going forward, what do we do here? I am just baffled, and I think to myself, and this isn't a pat on the back, but I think, okay, guys I know or myself and another football guy or us guys sitting in a room looking at past drafts, current, what are we doing here in Vegas with the Raiders? How do we make it better? There's got to be smarter. Scouting, whatever it is, you can't miss this often. You just can't. Whether it's the owner or it's buddies that you're hiring or you're afraid to make a decision, you don't want to spend enough money, you're not getting enough for the people you train, whatever it is, I just don't get why the Raiders have become, I don't want to say laughing stock, but have become an also-ran for a while now in this league and they keep changing, and you know what, you keep changing. Then there's no continuity anywhere. It's like if you put 14 different lines changes with your offensive line throughout a year, you're probably not going to be very good. It's the same thing with coaches and front office and money and veterans and stars. They just, there's a lot missing, and I don't know what it's going to take, but man alive, how many times can you miss on players in front office before you finally hit it and you say, we got it right? They are a long way away right now from getting it right, I assure you.
Sean, another team that's that big brand like the Raiders or the Dallas Cowboys, man, they're a mess right now too. And news with Dak going to be out for a while. What's the fix, if any, for the Cowboys?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw my Twitter the other day. Maybe it was yesterday. Trying to get it exact. I was just talking about the Cowboys. I said, the Cowboys don't run it well. They have a blah offensive line. The O-line doesn't move the needle. The QB needs great players, meaning Dak, to succeed. He can't carry a team like the Rodgers of the past or Elway or what Brady did, no matter who you brought in, Mahomes. He just can't do that. He needs good players. The play calling's elementary school. Defense scares no one. The talent on the roster is not a playoff roster, and they did nothing the front office this offseason. They're big what? Zeke Elliott? Stop it. Just friggin' stop it. They did nothing in the offseason to help an average talented team. They got good players, a few good pieces when Parsons is fully healthy. But that football team and an owner who will never hire a coach that challenges him because he will not let it happen. He thinks he's the best GM in the league. They did nothing. And players got to take accountability. Don't misunderstand me. But You can't come in with no groceries in the refrigerator, no cans of vittles in the cupboard, and expect that you're going to take chicken salad or chicken, turn it into chicken salad. They're not good enough to do that, and it's the same trend all the time. And so with that, aside from that, they're a hell of a team, man. What a team! They're great. Now Jerry can market; he's the best marketer in the world. They're profit. They're going to keep making money. But until Jerry decides I got to get that cut, Mike McCarthy I don't see how you retain him until you go out and get a guy that says, no, here's the way we're going to do it. But Jerry's ego won't let it. He's never going to sell it. He's not going anywhere. Jerry will die before somebody else is making the decisions. And that may be when he's 120. So it's just from top to bottom. This is a very average football team with an organization that ego and pride get in the way of good decisions. And when you got all those things, what do they do great? You tell me, aside from an individual like Parsons, what do they do great? They don't even run routes right. Ask Aikman. And then you say, well, what don't they do well? And that list is long. They're kind of the NFC version of the Raiders. They're just a little more successful with wins and getting to the playoffs. This Dallas Cowboy team is zero threat right now. And now with these injuries, they ought to start. If I was them, I'd start fire selling and start moving some product around to get assets. They're not a very good team, man. They don't have enough talent to win.
I'll leave you with this, Sean. Congratulations. You have been awarded an NFL franchise. You can't sell it. You gotta hold it. But there is one caveat, and the assumption is they'll both be alive for the next decade. You got to choose either Mark Davis or Jerry Jones to have full control of your team. Which one do you choose? And you can have no input. It's all on them.
Bury me alive and tell me and hope that some movie like John Wick comes and saves me, and I one of those, or what was that, Den of Thieves?
Right? Yeah.
What's the one with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx? Where he's in there and he's killing guys.
Oh yeah, yep. Unlawful citizen or something like that.
yeah, unlawful, right? Yeah, you just forget it, man. Hopefully, somebody saves me and it'll be fine. I don't want that to happen, but. What would I do? Dude, that's a horrible decision.
That's the right answer.
It's election day, man.
Give me a third option and say at least they've got a good personality.
All right, here's a third option. Once a month, you have to take off all your clothes, slide down a razor blade into a kiddie pool filled with alcohol.
Oh, yeah, and then like the old school days when you're standing upright, pedaling your bike, and you slip on the pedal and your groin hits the bar.
On the banana seat?
Yeah, give me that one. And then the tip of the banana seat that gives you a daily enema. That one. Yeah, that's for me.
Just no seat.
Thanks for the banana seat prostate check 7 hours a day. I'll take that one. Thank you.
Last week we ended it by pissing Sean off.
I know.
This week we're grossing him out. This is fantastic.
Boy, hey, Sam, I'm so glad we have this many years of relationship. Now you just took me back to rock bottom, and now I got to deal with this. Thanks for all the great options, dude. Why, you turned me into a friggin' country song. Okay?
Oh, I love you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
I friggin' hate you. Love you guys.
Sean Salisbury. We'll take a break when we come back. 4 down territory and all things great and small.